Good afternoon, Miss Bridgewater. How are you?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see. Mr. Murphy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Which case are you here on this afternoon?
Position number 7, Thomas Gilmer.
Okay, I'll let them know. We'll see if we can get you in and out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the jail had not called me, so I'll need about 3 minutes to chat with him.
Okay, thank you.
Also, Your Honor, that reset date is the 13th.
Thank you. Looks like courtroom 2 might be having some difficulty logging on this afternoon. Well,
Okay.
Let's see, while we're waiting for courtroom 2 to log on, I see Alpharetta Annex signed. Do we have someone at the Alpharetta Annex that we can take? Oh, there we go.
Yes,
Courtroom
sir.
2.
My apologies. We do have Ms. Palmer here in Alpharetta.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Who's,
sir.
who's representing Ms. Palmer?
I do, Your Honor.
Can we go ahead and do Ms. Palmer? Can you come on Alpharetta Annex so we can
One moment, Judge. Yes, sir.
okay, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Let me just address everyone while I have you here with me. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Good afternoon, Ms. Palmer. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000489E with battery family violence. I'm told that this is Ms. Palmer's first arrest. Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you. That's the information I have as well. This young woman's about 25. Police were called on the 28th at about 8:30 p.m. to 11910 Lexington Woods Drive in Johns Creek. She lives there with her mother, whose first name is Laverne. Apparently, her younger brother was visiting. He does not live at the location, but was there to talk to mom and accompany her to a doctor's appointment. The defendant and her brother argued about the temperature of the air unit in the house. The defendant made an admission that she was upset. She left her room, and when she left, she grabbed a golf club. She went to confront her brother, and she struck him in the arm with that golf club. Police could see a visible welt on his arm, the shape of the head of the golf club. Mom heard the interaction, came to where these two were and saw them struggling over the golf club. She had to be told afterwards that her son had been struck and see his injury. The defendant in front of you made admissions. Evidently, there's a history of violence between these two individuals. We're asking for a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, DVIP, or at least anger management, Your Honor, and no violent contact and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I do not believe the victim is here, but if you'd sound for him, his name is Jordan, last name Palmer.
Mr. Jordan Palmer is with us and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. I see Ms. Laverne Palmer there. Also, ma'am, if you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so as well.
Thank you for allowing me to address the court.
Okay, Ms. Palmer, can you raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, Ms. Palmer. What would you like to tell the court?
Okay, so this incident occurred again because of the temperature. My son wanted it to be cold in the house. He turned on the AC. Renee wanted it to be warm because it's cold outside. Her room is over the garage. I heard the confrontation. I went upstairs to separate them. It was just words at that time. And so basically, they were going back and forth. Jordan is an athlete. He's 6'5". Renee, as you see right there, he's 6'5". He is a wide receiver, plays football, and he does MMA, kickboxing and all that. Renee basically moved from him and ran downstairs and said she's going to turn off the AC outside the house. Okay. I tried to get Jordan not to run behind her. So he ran behind her when she ran down the stairs and she went outside. I did not see what happened, but I think he proceeded, to pull either her robe or whatever. And so she turned
Your Honor, I'm going
around.
to object at this point. The witness just told you she did not see what happened, and she's clearly making a biased statement against one party or the other.
But it's not a biased statement
These are
because,
difficult. This is a
okay.
family in involvement, Your Honor.
I'm gonna note your objection, Miss Allen. Miss Palmer, tell me what you did see,
Yes.
and I'll have some questions for you after, okay?
Okay, so when Renee, I think he pulled her and she swung and hit him on the arm. What I saw by the time I reached downstairs, because they ran so fast, is that I saw Jordan came in the house and he literally looked at me and he would pause for a second. I said, "Are you okay? Did you get hit?" And he said, "It's just adrenaline." Okay, but I looked at his arm. Yes, he held his arm and said, "Yeah, she knocked me with the club." So then when she came back in the house, she came back, she wanted to go in the room. Then he proceeded to go at her. And he went at her and he started trying to get the club from her, pulled her on the floor. And so that's really where the confrontation started. And I
Okay,
was in the middle.
who called the police, Miss Palmer?
Renee called the police. Renee
Okay,
called the
and
police.
how old is Renee?
Renee is 25.
And how old is Jordan?
Jordan is 21.
And you understand how a 21 and a 25-year-old shouldn't be coming to blows over
Exactly.
the
Yes.
level of heat. So is this your home?
It is my home, yes.
And it's my understanding that there's been some confrontation in the past.
There's been confrontation in the past, in the home where they argue, yes.
Okay, and who stays in that home with you?
So Jordan goes to school, so he stays in an apartment in the city. He goes to Georgia State University, but he comes home on weekend, occasionally, but he doesn't really sleep here as much as he should, right? And Renee stays in a home with me because she goes to work and she stays at home.
I don't think it's given what you've told me, and regarding this incident, and there's been some issues in the past, and given that it's your home, I don't want them to be around each other at the present time. So either Renee is going to be able to stay at your home, and your son Jordan is going to have to stay away, or Jordan can stay there, and Renee's going to have to find someplace else to go. But either way, neither of them are going to be able to be there at the same time until some of this gets resolved, okay? All right.
Okay,
Yes. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Palmer. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Mr. McLean, do you object to a signature bond?
We do not. I surmise that the defendant, is more likely to be able to afford the anger awareness than the DVIP at this point.
Okay. It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further contact at this time with Jordan Palmer. If Mr. Palmer is at the Lexington Woods Drive address necessarily, Renee is not going to be able to be there. That's going to be up to you, Miss Laverne, as to whom you're going to keep out of your home, but they're not to be there at the same time. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Miss Renee Palmer and Miss Laverne Palmer.
Thank you.
Yes, courtroom 2, before we get started there, Mr. Murphy, who has position number 7, Thomas Gilmer, informs me that he needs to speak with Mr. Gilmer. So if you all could make that happen for us at some point. Who do I have there with me today?
Position number 5, Miss, go to number 15, Miss Simpson. Miss Simpson on the jail iPhone.
Okay, and did you hear what I had to say about Thomas Gilmer and Mr. Murphy?
Yes, I did. And I tried calling Mr. Murphy earlier and I didn't get an answer.
Okay, so can we make that happen now? He's here with us. Thank you. And so where am I know it's Tracy Simpson, position number 15. It's on the jail court iPhone there. So if you can unmute for me, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Simpson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000486G with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
10th arrest. Got a battery DV crew. Hold on. How does she do this? I got an arrest from January 3rd, 2025. Possession of marijuana and cruelty out of Doraville. 2022, West Virginia for disorderly conduct, trespass, obstruction, and assault. That's all. This was 3. That's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant is on bond for that arrest in earlier January. Her oldest child is present with her here in Georgia. 13-year-old little boy was taken out of her custody at that time. In this case, Your Honor, the incident date is the 29th. So yesterday, 8:45 p.m., police were called to 1480 Graham Street. There they met with what is called the godmother of this defendant. Her name is Shanika Miller. Her adult daughter was there as well, and the defendant's 4 children, a set of twins that are 1 year old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-year-old little girl named Faith, who's the victim in this case. Mrs. Miller reported that the defendant had recently been in a hotel and leaving her children unattended. She then lost that hotel and came to Mrs. Miller's house at that Graham Street address and has been behaving erratically. She kept trying to leave the children unattended. And then while the 9-year-old was asleep on the couch with the 1-year-old, the 1-year-old rolled off the couch and fell. And mom, the defendant in front of you, threw an item at her 9-year-old daughter, striking her in the head, leaving a large swelling, a bump on her head. And that's when police were notified. The children have been removed and handed over to the defendant's mother. We are asking for a $4,000 cash bond, Your Honor, because she's on bond from an arrest in January related to the safety of her children. No contact with Mrs. Miller or her minor children, the 4 children I just mentioned. Stay away from that address on Graham Street, and medication compliance, Your Honor.
Thank you. If Miss Sanika Miller is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Miller here.
Miss Simpson, you have an attorney representing you. I'll have him advise you. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you, okay? We have solicitors on the line that are prosecuting you, so you may want to take his advice in regards to anything that you have to say this afternoon. Mr. McLean?
Yes, sir. Ms. Simpson is 32. Her arrest record was described by the clerk's office or the pretrial folks. The job history, Your Honor, is that she has been a school student for a time. She has been studying anesthesiology assistant work, and and she's been in Georgia for several years, off and on in the past, and now she's back in Georgia. So, if Your Honor does in the separation of family members, she would. She has a godmother that not the grandmother, but the godmother. It's the grandmother that she can stay with. So she would have a place to stay, and we would ask the court to consider a signature bond under these circumstances.
Well, if it's the same grandmother that the children are staying with, and I'm being asked not to have her around the children, then I don't know if that's feasible. Is DFACS involved in this matter?
I do not know.
Yes, Your Honor, they are.
Okay, I'm going to have her comply and follow any DFACS orders in regards to the children. As far as the bond for the battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the cruelty, it'll be a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. Stay away from that Graham Street address. I guess you can go back to that address if necessary on one occasion to retrieve any belongings if necessary. No further contact with Ms. Miller. As far as the children are concerned, I'm going to have her abide by any DFACS orders. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Is that a one-time escort to the Graham Street location?
If she needs it, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you, Ms. Simpson. Who we have next?
Next, we have position number 5, Ms. Curry.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Curry. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000475H with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Got second arrest. Last was 1992. Ag assault, disorderly conduct, reduced to battery conviction.
Afternoon, Ms. Tucker.
Good afternoon. We'd be asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial in this case with a stay away from 1744 Lyle, Lyle Avenue, apartment 13 in College Park. The facts in this case allege that the defendant's daughter was involved in a shots fired call. Officers obtained a search warrant to come search the home. The defendant was shown this warrant, knew that they had the right to go in, and when the daughter opened the door for the mom to enter, she closed the doors right on the officer's face. So that is the basis of the obstruction. Based on the lack of history, though, we are asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, as well as to stay away from that location.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chataya.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have no objection.
Okay, does she have somewhere to go besides that Lyle Avenue address?
Yes, Your Honor. I have an address for her in Stone Mountain.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that she has somewhere. As such, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Lyle Avenue address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Curry.
Next, we have position number 9, Ms. Martin.
Good afternoon, Ms. Martin. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0000481Y with battery family violence. I was told that this is Ms. Martin's first arrest. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial with conditions no further contact with Brandon Bunkley and to stay away from 6111 Ivy Chase Way in Atlanta. The facts allege that the victim, Mr. Brandon Bunkley, began playing music while the defendant was trying to work from home. So the defendant grabbed the phone from his hands, began hitting him in the face, even tried to strike him with a frying pan. He told us he took that frying pan and she went and grabbed another pan. Now, she did call 911, but when the police came, the victim had visible injuries, including scratches and swelling on the right side of his face, and this defendant had no injuries. So they determined that this defendant was the primary aggressor and that her grabbing the phone was what really escalated this situation. We have spoken with the victim. He said he didn't sustain any serious injuries, but did not deny that he did, have these visible injuries. He says that they're not together now, but they may decide to rekindle the relationship in the future. So he's requesting a no further violent contact. But based on the violence in the facts, I'm asking for no further contact. He said he didn't want to be on the Zoom, but just to be sure if we could sound for Brandon Bunkley.
Mr. Chataya?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't object to the 5,000 signature bond, but I do object to the stay away because the address of the incident location, that lease is under my client's name, and my understanding is the victim stays there with her permission. So I would object to the stay away.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Martin.
Next, we got position number 18, Ms. Tinsley.
Good afternoon, Ms. Tinsley. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0004848H with 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 16/2022. I saw a battery DB that was transferred to the DA's office. 2019 simple battery, trespass conviction. A couple of probations from 2017 and 18. 2017 battery, cruelty to children, obstruction conviction. 2017 cruelty in the 3rd battery DV and obstruction conviction. That's it.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant also is under sentence for a DUI in 23 DF 006924Y. The disposition on that sentence is November of 2024. She does have a case that was transferred to the DA's office, Your Honor, at the end of 2024. This incident occurred on the 26th of this month. Police were called at about 6:30 p.m. to 818 Welch Street Southwest. There they met with the daughter of this defendant. Her date of birth is 2006. Her name is Camille, the victim in this case. She reported that her mother had shoved her into a wall and struck her in the face. She didn't have any injuries. She reported to police that her mother became angry because she was under the influence of alcohol, that her daughter went to take the alcohol out of her mother's purse. Stepfather had come over to the location to visit the child that the defendant and he share, and the defendant in front of you accused her daughter with the date of birth 5/20/2006 of sleeping with this stepfather and assaulted her in front of everyone. The defendant did tell police that she thought her daughter was sleeping with her ex. There's some concerns here about the continued use of substances. She's got multiple DUI convictions, Your Honor, as well as convictions for simple battery, criminal trespass, battery family violence. And you heard about that open case as well. We're asking for a $4,000 surety, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and no contact with the victim, Camille, last name Tinsley, same last name. We tried to get in touch with her today, but we're not successful. If you'd sound for her in case she was able to join us or got a message. Otherwise, stay away from wherever she may be. Thank you.
Okay. And do we know if Ms. Tinsley lives at the Welch Street address?
I imagine she does with another child who is in the care of this defendant, but we haven't been able to confirm that yet. Maybe defense can help.
Okay. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, Hannah Tinsley does live at Welch Street. She's 40 years old. I would emphasize in my bond argument that there were no visible injuries. We understand she has 2 years of college. We understand that she works at the Pro Cleaners, which does house cleaning. And before that, she's worked various jobs, including the hospitality industry. If Your Honor were to say that she could not be at Welch Street, she would have a place to go because she does have other.
Okay, so she has, Camille is about 19 years old. Is that right, Mr. McLean?
18, I believe.
Yeah.
18. And she has a second child. How old is that child?
I don't have that.
Okay, well, my concern is that if we have 2 minor children, does anybody else live at the Welch Street address aside from Miss Hannah Tinsley and her 2 minor, well, the 18-year-old and the other possibly minor child?
That I do not know.
Okay.
I would be okay with Miss Tinsley stating who lives there.
Ms. Tinsley, how many children do you have and what are their ages?
2, 18, and 9.
And they both live with you at the Welch Street address?
That is correct. We live there sometimes, but most of my son was with me full time.
Okay, and nobody else lived with you there?
No, sir.
And did you say that Camille lives there just part-time?
Yes, sir.
Where does she live the other part of the time?
I have no clue. She just doesn't communicate with me at all. Just come,
She's is she still in high school or has she graduated?
So last year.
Okay. All right, well, I'm reticent to keep her away from the Welch Street address, given that if she's not at that address paying those bills, then and the 9-year-old might not possibly have a place to stay. I am going to require that, given that she's under sentence for DUI, and it's more than possibly more than a first-time DUI. I'm not sure if she's still under a sentence that requires her to get any type of drug or alcohol treatment, but I'm going to require that she go to 2 AA meetings per week as part of this bond. It will be $1,000 good bond on each charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond, 2 AA meetings per week, no further violent contact with Camille Tinsley, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Tinsley, you're not to have any alcohol while you are out on bond, and you are required to go to 2 AA meetings per week if you're not already doing that through the sentence that you have for the 2024 DUI. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
We can go to ACDC.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow.
Afternoon, Francois. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Hope you are as well. This is going to be position number 10, Ms. McNeil.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. McNeil. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. McNeil, you've been charged in case 25 CR 000482C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
9th arrest. Last arrest was in November. FTA. On first offender probation for forgery and selling marijuana out of Douglas County. 2023 battery DV. I think it was dismissed. It's 23 CR 003842C. FTAs from 2023, 2024. Open DUI in 2020, driving without a valid license. It's 23 CR 007139C.
Thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $2,500 good bond in this case with conditions no further contact with Vivian McNeil.
Yes,
and
ma'am, and I'm here.
Okay, and to stay away from 2018 Turner Road, Atlanta. The facts in this case allege that when officers arrived, even from outside the door, they could hear loud yelling from inside. The door was swung open, and 7 people were inside. After investigation, talking with a lot of the victims, they determined that the defendant hit this victim multiple times, leaving multiple visible injuries, including swelling around her eye, as well as her shirt was torn and barely intact. We did get to speak with her. It sounds like she's here on the Zoom.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
She let us know that she feels it's a family thing that has since been resolved. She doesn't want a stay away order. She doesn't want no further contact. However, in that battery family violence from 2023 that was DWOPed, the victim is one of the other people living in the home. The victim was Kimberly McNeil, who is this defendant's mother. As well as there were 3 FTAs that I counted, 2 in 2023 and 1 in 2024. So between FTAs, previous battery family violence, we'd be asking for that $2,500 good bond with conditions no further contact and stay away. And it's worth noting, Judge, we have been able to listen to some of the jail calls between this victim and this defendant. I know the facts of the case aren't really at issue in a bond hearing, but this victim said, I'll just say it was me before I let you go to jail, before I let you go to prison. So take what she says with a grain of salt.
May I say something, please?
You're gonna have to come on camera for me, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna have to come on camera. I have to see you before I can let you speak.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, it's dark in the room, so.
Well, you need to go to some place, so you need to turn on a light or something.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Y'all keep talking, I'm gonna put you out. You're gonna be scared. And I should be quiet for a while.
Can you see me now?
No,
Hello.
ma'am, I can't. It's
Hold
still
on
too
1 second.
dark.
Okay, so what I want to say, my
Okay,
niece is not a threat to.
hold on, Ms. McNeil. Raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
My niece, she's not a threat to me. We just had a fight and that was it. She's not a threat. She don't have to stay away. I mean, this is my grandma's house.
Tell me about the fight.
We got into it because okay, I'm a truck driver, and so my mom, she has swelling on her knee. So what started it was I was trying to tell them to come in the room so I can show them how to get the swelling on her knee. And she got mad, and my mom tried to pass us some chips, and I took the chips and I threw it in the toilet, and Angel got mad, and it went from there. But she's not a threat. She's not a threat at all.
Well, you're not telling me what happened. You threw some chips in wherever you threw it, and then what happened?
We got to fighting.
Oh,
We just got to fighting.
You start physically fighting?
We just got to fighting.
Okay, you put hands on each other?
Well,
is that what you're talking about fighting? I mean, you can fight in different ways. Did you all throw punches?
Yeah, it was some punches thrown.
Okay, and this happened yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, and somebody called the police?
Yes.
Who called the police?
I don't know. Oh, my mama. My mama's
Okay.
right here.
And that's Kimberly, you're Kimberly McNeil?
No, Kimberly is my sister.
Okay, and Miss Vivian, who are you to Angel?
I'm her auntie.
Okay. All right. So if Miss Kimberly wants to say something, I'll allow her to say something, and you have to put the phone, give her the phone.
My mother, Anna Banks.
No, this is her grandmother that wants to speak.
Okay, what's your name, ma'am?
Anna Banks.
Miss Banks, do you live at the Turner Road address?
Yes, I do.
Okay, were you there yesterday?
Yes, I was.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Miss Banks. What do you want to tell me?
What I want to tell y'all is the way all of it started, because it started here in my bedroom. Angel had some chips, and I told Angel to give me some of the chips. Angel handed them to me. I got some, and I handed them back to Angel. My daughter snatched them from her and pulled them over in my toilet seat. Then Angel walked out of the room. My daughter went behind her, and I kept hearing her aggravate Angel. She aggravated Angel. No, I don't want you to say nothing. You aggravated her. That's what caused all the commotion. Mama, but they need to told you to leave her alone. Mama, they need to know how she tried several times to walk away from you, and you pulled her back. That's what my daughter did. She pulled Angel back. That's when I got up with a hurt leg, got on my walker, and went in there to make her leave her alone. And by that time, Angel had walked out the door. My daughter walked behind her. She kept aggravating Angel to a point where Angel had no other choice but to throw a punch at her. Basically, this really wasn't Angel's fault. It was my daughter's fault. She wasn't listening to me when I told her alone.
It's my fault. Yep, it surely is.
It's
my fault.
Before Angel attacked one of us adults around here when we getting on her about something, she will walk away. She will leave the house. And this is why I told Vivian, leave her alone. Let her go where she want to go. She's mad right now because you took her gifts from her. But Vivian kept aggravating her.
Because I was trying
Miss
to tell them how to
Miss
you, Mom.
Miss Banks, Miss Banks, whose house is
Yeah.
it? Whose house is it?
It's my mother's house.
That's Kimberly McNeil's house?
No, Cecilia Banks. Cecilia Banks. That's my mother. I'm Kimberly's and Vivian's mother. I stay here. My mother now help take care of me because I'm disabled.
Okay.
Angel helps take care of me. And I told her she wasn't gonna take my help away from me like that. Leave her alone.
Okay, well, what I'm telling you, Ms. Banks, is that nobody should be especially in a family, throwing hands. So I'm not going to have them be around each other. Okay? So either Vivian can be in that house or Angel can be in that house, but they're not going to both be in that
Angel.
house. Okay?
I'm a
So
truck driver.
I don't care how y'all work it out, but you're not going to be there together. Okay?
Well,
They're not going to be there together.
This is Angel's
Judge, I'm a truck driver. I will leave.
This is Angel's resident.
Okay, all right. All right,
Angel
thank you
has
for
a
being.
child here as well. Angel
she
and her
does?
child.
Okay.
Yes, she does.
All right, thank you, Miss Banks. I appreciate you being here.
Okay.
Mr. Chatai, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
My client is 23. She has lived in Atlanta for most of her life. She got as far as 11th grade in school. And my understanding is that she also has a 6-year-old boy that she takes care of at home, in addition to taking care of Miss Kimberly. For those reasons, I asked this court to consider the lowest reasonable surety amount that would secure her return.
Okay, it's going to be $1,000 good bond, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Vivian McNeil. If Miss McNeil is at the Turner Road address, then Miss Angel necessarily cannot be there. But if Miss Vivian leaves that address, then I'll allow Angel McNeil to go back there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Miss Angel.
Judge, you said $1,000 good bond, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are we done at ACDC?
Yes, we're done. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Number one, position number one, Mr. Burrell.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Burrell. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0000474Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second. DUI out of Arkansas. I think the other party went to felony earlier, from what I was told.
Okay, so this was a dual arrest?
Hold on for a minute. She
Yes,
said,
Judge.
yeah, and the judge ordered Barrera no further contact and third party transfer the child. That was the order in felony, from what I was told.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. We're asking for a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. Conditions no further contact with Deja, DEJAH, Gay, and to stay away from 1634 Hollywood Road, apartment UG01 in Atlanta. The facts allege that during an argument, the victim let the defendant know that her son is not his, which made him upset. So he pushed her into a wall, causing a visible bruise on her lip. She then went and got a butcher's knife from the kitchen. That's the basis of the felony charge, but he pushed her to the ground and took the knife. She was arrested as well on the felony calendar this morning. And based on his lack of history, we're asking for a $5,000 signature bond. But based on the violence alleged in the facts, we're asking that it be through pretrial with those conditions, no further contact, and stay away.
Thank you, Mr. Chitaya.
No objection.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Gay. Stay away from the Hollywood Road address. He can go back to that address if necessary on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Third-party transfer of any minor children. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Burrell.
Number 2, Bussy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bussey. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000483A with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. Last was back in May. That was a weapons charge out of Detroit, Michigan. On probation for that. No violent history.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we're asking on the battery family violence for a $3,000 good bond and on the criminal trespass a $1,000 good bond for a total of $4,000 with conditions no further contact with Taji Jackson, that's TAHJI, Jackson normal spelling, and to stay away from 7915 Sonoya Road, apartment 5306 in Fairburn. The facts allege that this defendant was spending the night at the victim's house and broke her TV. She asked him to take it to the dump. Then later that night, he was upset. He kicked the master bedroom door against the wall, busting a big hole in the wall, and he choked her, leaving bruises on her neck. She did let us know that she didn't lose consciousness, didn't lose any of her airway. So I don't believe this would lead to a felony level strangulation. But we did speak with the victim. She did confirm the events in the warrant. She expressed that although she was shocked, she said it was only a brief violent incident in order to take her phone. She discovered yesterday that she's pregnant with his second child. And I believe I did, so I think that influenced. She did want contact. She did not want him to stay away, but I believe that what's best for her is no contact and a stay away, especially considering the
Can I say
bruises
something?
around her neck. She is on the Zoom today. We're asking for that $4,000 good bond with conditions no further contact and stay away.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson, I see that
Yes.
you're there. You're gonna have to come on camera for me.
Okay, can you see me?
Okay. I can see you now. Thank you, ma'am. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, I see you're in a car. I take it that you're not driving. Is that right?
that's correct.
Okay. What would you like to tell the court?
So all I want to say is, as she said before, I don't want him to stay away. I am pregnant with my second child. I just found out last night, and we do have a child together. So I don't want to stay away. It was a misunderstanding. He apologized. He paid me in full for the damage, and that's it for me.
Okay, this happened back on January 12th. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you all been together since that time?
Yes, we have.
Has this ever happened before?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms.
No
Jackson.
problem.
Mr. Chataya?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 29. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He graduated from Woodland High School. Currently, he works as a roofer for Fort Moore military base. He's done roofing for the past 15 years. Furthermore, I did not note any failures to appear in the past 2 years on his PSA report. And as we just heard from Ms. Jackson, nothing like this has ever happened before in their couple. For those reasons, we ask this court to consider the possibility of a signature bond, but if the court is unwilling, then we request the lowest surety bond value that's reasonable to secure his return.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond for the battery, through pretrial, level 2. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 2, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Miss Jackson, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Bussey.
Next is position 3, Cameron.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cameron. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0004778 with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
25. Last arrest was in November. Shoplifting out of the cab. That's open. 2014, first offender robbery. 2017, pled no to trespass. 2020, 2 counts of trespass arrest. 2022, conviction for trespass. 2022, felony conviction for theft by receiving. 2024, conviction for shoplifting and battery. On probation for that now. What else? Got another 2024 trespass conviction. That's it. Oh, FTAs. 2 in 2022 and 2 from 2024. That's it.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we're asking for a $2,000 good bond with the stay away from the North End Line Apartments at 385 North Angier Avenue, Angier, in Atlanta. The facts allege this defendant was found shaving in the bathroom of the clubhouse of the apartment complex, of which he is not a resident, and he was already given a criminal trespass warning on the 8th of this month, so he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. It's not the facts that are asking me or leading me to ask you for a good bond, it's really his history. You did hear he's got a bunch of arrests. 11 November of last year, theft by shoplifting. July of last year, driving without a license. February of last year, FTA. February of last year, criminal trespass. 2023 FTA. 2023 criminal trespass and theft by taking. 23 FTA. Or excuse me, that was a 22 FTA. I mean, the list goes on and on. You heard 25 total arrests, a lot of it very recently. So I believe the risk of reoffense while out on bond is very high. For those reasons, we're asking for a $2,000 good bond as well as to stay away from those apartments.
Thank you. Mr. Jatine?
Yes, Your Honor. I request this court to consider the possibility of a signature bond or alternatively a lower surety amount. My client is 32. He's been a Georgia resident for the past 10 years. He has a high school diploma. And for the past 5 years, he has worked as a Dunkin' Donuts cashier. Also, my client informed me that he served in the military briefly. And he also informed me that he has a brother named Justin Cameron who lives with him. According to my client, that brother was involved in a car accident and he needs my client to be at home to look after him. So for those reasons, I request a signature bond or a lower surety amount.
Okay. It will be a $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the incident location and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Cameron. Who do we have next?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We have position number 7, Mr. Gilmer.
Okay. And Mr. Murphy, are you with me? I don't see Mr. Murphy on the line. Am I missing him?
He was up there earlier.
All right, I know that he was here earlier. I don't see him right now, and I've sounded for him. Let's give him an opportunity to come back to us. Can we go to someone else?
Yes, we'll go with position number 14, Mr. Sestak, Sestak.
Yes, that's Sestak.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sestak. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000488A with criminal trespass and damage to property, theft by taking, and battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth. Last arrest I think was for suspended license. What else we got? First offender 2017 for simple battery out of Gwinnett. 2020 arrest for simple battery, family violence out of Gwinnett. That was dismissed. That's all.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is from an outstanding warrant issued in September of 2024 at about 5 p.m. Police responded to 3209 Chastain Drive, Northeast. There they met with the victim. Her name is Amber Nash. She reported that the defendant had come to her house and kicked in the door to her residence, took 2 pair of shoes that he refused to give back to her, and then struck her in the face. She had a visible injury. She had scratches actually on both sides of her face when she spoke to police. We've been in touch with Ms. Nash today. She said that violence is usually what happens once an altercation starts with this defendant. He quickly moves from a verbal argument to physical assault. He's got a bad temper. She's asking for no further violent contact. Your Honor, it's our position. I do not believe they share any children. And I do not believe we charged this as family violence because it specifically says they don't live together. The state would request no contact. We'd also request a $3,000 surety. That's $1,000 for each count based on the fact that he's got 2 prior cases for domestic violence. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean?
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Can I speak, please?
Is this Miss Nash?
This is no, this is Amanda Sestak. This is his sister that he lives with right now. And my father is here too as well. And his name is Sean Sestak, and he's his dad.
Okay, did they have any knowledge of these allegations?
Yeah, so that was his girlfriend.
Hold on. I
Sorry.
need to see you, Miss Amanda.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I mean, Sestak.
These individuals are not witnesses, Your Honor.
Hello.
Okay.
No, but
So hold on, Miss Sestak. Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. My question to you was, do you know anything about or did you witness the September 16th, 2024 allegation?
I was on the phone for it. He was living there at the time. I wasn't there in person. He calls me every time they do argue. She actually is not mentally stable, and that is she's, what is that called? Diagnosed with it. She's been in mental hospitals. So that's those.
So hold on, Miss
Point.
Sestak. Hold on, Miss Sestak. So he doesn't live at that Chastain Drive address?
He was living when he was dating her there. So
I said at the present time, he does not live there.
Right now, no, he does not. He lives with me.
Okay, all right. I appreciate you being here this afternoon, ma'am. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sestak is 26. He graduated from Parkview High School in Gwinnett County. He has the prior arrests as noted. He's an electrician. He is switching from local 20, which is in another state, to another local here to get jobs. He also works at McDonald's as a cook and works the window. As I said, he was 26. He lives on White Pine Road in Snellville. That's his current address. We have a stable phone number, family numbers. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond. Thank you.
Okay, given that he has a stable address, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 on each charge. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. Nash. Stay away from the Chastain Drive address. no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Mr. Murphy's back with us. Can we go back to Mr. Murphy's client, please?
Yes, position number 7, Mr. Gilmer.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gilmer. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000480A with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. 2004 battery dismissed. Before that was 1996.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge. So this was a dual arrest. The wife was on yesterday's calendar. She received a $2,500 signature bond on the battery and a $1,000 signature bond on the simple battery. Those were through pretrial level 2 with conditions no further violent contact, to enroll in family violence intervention program within 30 days and to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I would ask the same thing for Mr. Gilmer. The facts, because you weren't here yesterday, this did occur in a car on Georgia 400 in Alpharetta. They were fighting over her cell phone. So he was reaching for her cell phone, punching, slapping. There were visible bite marks on both parties. So for those reasons, Judge Law yesterday granted that $3,500 total signature bond through pretrial level 2, and we'd be asking for the same for Mr. Gilmer.
Judge, we have no objection. My client and the cross defendant have been married 29 years. No issues between them. They do not have minor children. My client's address is 381 Justin Drive North in Ellijay, Georgia, 30540. My client is unemployed at the moment. This is attributable to some financial stress, and my client's father is in hospice now, so the impending demise of his father is weighing heavily. But he certainly will honor your directions, Your Honor, and we'd ask that you allow him out on the signature bond. And I would only add that I don't know if he can enroll in FVIP, but he said he could certainly attend anger management classes.
And Judge, just because you missed it yesterday, Mrs. Gilmer mentioned the same thing, that she was unemployed, so she wasn't sure if she could enroll in the classes. Judge Law was not swayed by that. She said, "You're old enough, you have some education, you can get a job." So I would ask that he is also required to enroll in the FVIP.
I leave it to the wisdom of the court. Thank you, Your Honor.
It's not normally what I do, so I don't know what the other alleged victim history it was or is. Does Mr. Gilmer tell me his history again? I'm sorry, Mr. Howard. Does he have any convictions for any violence?
Nah, he had a bunch of driving stuff. I remember him.
Okay.
This is fourth arrest.
Okay.
And the
so,
contact was no further violent.
Okay. Again, I don't know what the wife's history is, but with this history, it's not my normal practice to ask for FVIP. So as such, for the battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
All right, hold on, my bad. That was my bad. That was the wife history that had the driving. His history was the 04 battery dismissed and the 1996 simple battery dismissed.
Okay, still no convictions. Okay.
But my client would say he's had a few traffic offenses as well, but that's it, Your Honor. My client has a blood pressure issue, and he was hoping to get released today.
Okay, that's my bond order. Good luck to you, Mr. Gilmer.
Thank you, Judge. And I've got his phone number, so I'll make sure that he attends the anger awareness. I will hold his hand for that. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, have a good afternoon, Mr. Murphy.
What level was that?
Level 1. Who do we have next?
Position number 19, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000487G with 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass, damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11. It shows he got an open battery case out of state court, 18 CR 001-528G. Not sure what's going on. On probation for ag assault, 24 SC 000145. 2023 probation. 2021 battery DV conviction, 2020 FTA, 2019 battery DV conviction, 2018 phase to appeal. That's it.
Fallon?
Thank you, Your Honor. That open case with the 18 CR number is a battery that's open. It's in bench warrant status. That bench warrant was issued in 2022. He has a conviction for battery on a pregnant female out of Cobb County in 2019, a battery family violence conviction against Caitlin Foster, who's also the victim in this case in front of you, and an aggravated assault that he, for some reason, got first offender on and is currently being supervised. This incident was reported on the 29th, so yesterday. At about 6:30 in the morning, an unrelated party called 911 and reported that the defendant was outside and had taken a woman's phone, and they were in the parking lot arguing, and the caller was concerned that there was going to be violence. Another call came in from the victim's mother. Her name is Brenda. She reported that the victim had gone back inside after the defendant had damaged her phone, and so she had to call her mother using her laptop. So mom called 911. The defendant could be heard banging on the door trying to gain access to the residence. This is Unit 1419 there at 1040 Huff Road Northwest. On scene, the police encountered the defendant first. He was described as heavily intoxicated. He had the victim's broken phone in his possession, along with his phone that was not broken. He admitted to damaging it. When police spoke to the victim, she said that he came home, and when she let him inside, he pushed her to the floor with both of his hands to her chest and then spit in her face. They shared 2 children, one of which was born November of 2024, so very small child, another child under the age of 5, Your Honor. The documentation from police notes that they'd been there previously. I did just tell the court that Mrs. Foster, is the victim in the 2021 battery family violence conviction. Because it does not state that she had any visible injuries, this is not a battery today, Your Honor, but there are some concerns. We did eventually make contact with the victim through her mother because, of course, her cell phone is not usable. And I believe she's here on the call. I think she wants contact, but Your Honor, based on the prior history, not just with her, but with other women and a pregnant woman in the past, the state's asking for no contact. We'd ask for a $2,000 surety on each of the counts here. That would be 6 total. No contact with the victim in this case. Again, Caitlin with a K, Foster, stay away from where she lives, and no drug, alcohol, or weapons. We'd also request random screening, Your Honor. The victim reported that the defendant acts this way when he's under the influence, specifically of cocaine. Thank you. If you would sound for Mrs. Foster.
Ms. Foster, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
I just wanted to express that the biggest issue, I think, is just the drug use, and if we can just do something to address that issue, I feel like that's something that would be the most helpful towards everybody, the women involved, him, our kids, everybody. I just think that if there could be something to address the drug use, then that could be a solution. We do have a young child together, so I would not like it to be just no communication whatsoever, because I would like him to, at some point when he gets the drugs use and his addiction together, to be an active father in our kid's life at some point. But I don't want to see him necessarily in jail. I just want to see, like, if there was like a rehab or therapy or drug classes or something like that. I just really feel like it comes down to being a drug problem more than anything.
How many minor children do you have?
We have two. We have a 5-year-old and a 2-month-old.
30 months.
Okay. So for right now, ma'am, there's going to be no contact. If in the future he wishes to modify, they can make those modifications if he gets himself together in the future. But as for now, there's not going to be any contact. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Cole.
He does have stuff at my house, so if y'all,
I'll allow him a one-time escort to retrieve those belongings. Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Foster. Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor. Curtis Williams is 34 years old. He graduated from North Atlanta High School. He's a music artist and he sells wholesale clothing. I noticed all three phone numbers, well, two of the three phone numbers he gave me for relatives to contact, and I left messages, are local area codes, and even the 706 is North Georgia. So that goes to show that it is local contacts. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond if that's possible.
Okay, for the criminal trespass, it's $1,000 good bond. For each of the simple batteries, it's a $2,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $5,000 good bond. No further contact at this time with Ms. Foster. Stay away from the Huff Road address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Third-party transfer of visitation for the minor children. Random drug screens, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Next, we'll go position number 8, Mr. Mack.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mack. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0000476Y with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, possession and use of drug-related objects, and reckless conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Last arrest was back in June. Sale of marijuana. Obstruction. 24 PI 0045666. Got another open PI case. Possession of a sawed-off shotgun. Willful obstruction. It's 24 PI 0022232. That's all. I need to look up this bond. That's all, though.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking on the obstruction charge for a $1,500 good bond, on the drug-related object charge, a $500 good bond, and on that reckless conduct charge, a $5,000 good bond, for a total of a $7,000 good bond. The facts allege that undercover officers witnessed this defendant in a hand-to-hand transaction. So when a uniform officer approached to investigate further, this defendant took off running, despite, multiple times being told, stop running, stop running. He had to be tased and taken to the ground. While he was running, he threw a firearm under a car, which had a fully loaded magazine and one round chambered. Once he was finally stopped, he did have the drug-related objects on him. But between the facts, the recklessness, throwing a fully loaded gun while in a police chase is inherently dangerous, as well as while he only has 4 total cycles, all of them have guns involved. In 2024, it was a felony marijuana charge, but he was charged with firearm during felony. Also earlier in 2024, that possession of a sawed-off shotgun. And then in 2022, it was the theft by receiving felony level, which is typically receiving a theft by receiving a stolen gun. That was null pros. but he was arrested for that. I also have that he was out on a $39,000 good bond on his felony charge. He was just released in August of 2021. So he's got pending gun charges. A $39,000 good bond didn't stop him from reoffending. This is a very dangerous situation, throwing a completely loaded gun with one round chambered. So for those reasons, we are asking for that $7,000 total good bond.
Ms. Tucker, do you know with any of those other bonds, was he weapons restricted?
I do not know for sure, but I would assume so. Which
Okay.
in this
What was
case
your
would
question?
make this a felony.
Was he restricted on the bonds from not having weapons?
Oh, the bond order. Hold
I
on.
mean, normally they do, but I just want to make sure.
Pre-indictment order. Yeah, no drugs without legal prescription and no weapons. That's what one of them said.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Mr. Chattai, your client has his hand up. You need to speak with
Yes.
him before you speak with me. Mr. Mack, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I'm happy to let you speak with Mr. Chataya. I don't want you speaking in open court because it might be adverse to your interest. Do you need to speak with Mr. Chataya before we go forward?
Just, yes, for a little while. I would like to touch some things.
Okay.
Okay. Can we get Mr. Matt to a phone so that he can speak with Mr. Chataya?
Yeah, we'll call him on the courtroom.
Okay. Any Mr. McLean's cases that we can take?
Yes, position number 17, Mr. Thomas.
Okay.
Is that Thomason?
Thomason, I'm sorry, yes.
Yep. It's okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomason. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0000485E with 2 counts of battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got a 2015 ag battery conviction. Also a battery conviction from that year. Hold on. I gotta go to the history for this one.
I have the information, Your Honor. He's got felony convictions in 2000 for criminal damage to property, 2002 for felon in possession of a firearm, family violence battery conviction out of Clayton County in 2006, and then that 2015 aggravated battery here in Fulton County.
2000
Okay.
ag assault conviction.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. This is an incident from November, Your Honor, of 2024. The 30th of November, police were called to a fight in, I believe it was East Point, 1917 Idlewood Drive, which is a location. It was about midnight. There they met with the victim, another patron of the location who was there watching sports. His name is Jerry O'Kelly. We tried to get in touch with him today, but were unsuccessful at this point. There were multiple witnesses at the scene. The defendant had fled. Mr. O'Kelly was seen to have busted blood vessels in his eye. He had a visibly busted, bloody lip, as well as a large laceration on the inside of his mouth. He'd been punched multiple times in the face by this defendant after an argument about sport ball. We're asking for a $4,000 surety to stay away from that location, 1917 Idlewood Drive in East Point. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and absolutely no contact with Jerry O'Kelly. Thank you.
Fine.
Your Honor, certainly the incident location has nothing to do with Mr. Thomason's address, so no contact and stay away are totally appropriate. We would ask the court to consider as low a bond as possible under the circumstances. Mr. Thomason has had high school education and some technical college as well. He has a CDL. He is a trucker, both local and over the road, but mostly local. Even when he goes over the road, it's just he can get back in 24 hours. and this was watching a football game, and we asked the court to consider low bond. Thank you.
All right, it'll be $1,000 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from the Idlewood Drive address, no further contact with O'Kelly, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. Ready to proceed with Mr. Mack?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, Mr. Chataya.
Yes, Your Honor. I ask this court to consider the possibility of a signature bond or to lower the surety amount to one that is necessary to secure his future return. My client is 24. He graduated from high school. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. My client also informed me that he has a selective service card for the military. So although he's not currently in the military, he is available for service. Mr. Mack has two jobs, is my understanding. He works one for New Rest, which is an airport catering company. He's been there for over a year now. He prepares the food and snacks that go on airplanes. He also started an LLC for his own record label. He is a musician. He makes his own music. He's been making rap music, and he's been doing that for about a year now. My client also informs me that he has a 23-year-old sister at home whom he helps financially. So my understanding is that he helps pay her bills and her rent. Now, to go a bit against what the state mentioned earlier, although they mentioned quite a bit of charges and arrests, I read Mr. Mack's PSA report, and I do not see any failures to appear, nor do I see any convictions. Given my client's age, his lifelong ties to Atlanta, his work history, I ask this court to consider the possibility of a signature bond, but if that's not possible, then we request a $1,000 surety.
Okay. I'm mostly concerned, Mr. Chataya, that he's already has not only an open case, but he has a bond requirement, and he's been ordered not to have any weapons. He has violated that order, which makes that may make that $39,000 good bond revocable, given that he's allegedly had some weapons. Given that he allegedly has not followed that order, for the obstruction, it'd be a $500 good bond. For the possession, a $500 good bond, and for the reckless conduct, a $5,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $6,000 good bond. Relinquish all weapons, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Or relinquish all firearms. Good luck to you, Mr. Mack.
Next, we have conviction number 11, Mr. Mobley.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mobley. You've been charged in case 25 CR 0000491G with disorderly conduct. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second adult arrest. 2020 resisting arrest, traffic violation, 2 counts of hit and run, and fleeing. What it says, convicted of grand theft, hit and run, fleeing and resisting. You got arrest out of Georgia and Florida. All you got is a juvie arrest, violent juvie history from Florida. That's it.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from January the 28th at the staff zone location, 1705 Dunlap Avenue in East Point. Police were called there in reference to a disturbance. On scene, they met with multiple employees, including Sylvia Porter. She reported that the defendant had come there to get a pay card and became impatient when he realized he had to wait. They were assisting other people. He became irate. He started picking up furniture like chairs and acting in a way as if he was going to throw those chairs at people. Multiple other witnesses and employees at the location confirmed and corroborated that information. He made insulting gestures, used vulgar language, and then went outside and started picking up rocks and throwing them through the open door at the location. So they called the police. He was located in the parking lot. We are asking for a $2,000 surety, Your Honor, to stay away from that location and have no contact with the individuals working there, specifically Ms. Porter. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and we'd ask for a day of anger management. Or awareness, I'm sorry, which one you usually order. Thank you.
Is your case, Mr. Chitaya?
Yes, Your Honor. I request this court to consider a signature bond. My client is 24. He holds a GED. He works full-time at a company I believe is called People Ready. He does warehouse and cleanup work for them, and no objection to the stay away.
He has a place to reside.
Your Honor, I did not receive the booking report. I don't have an address for him here, but I can.
I'm just wondering if he needs a social worker visit, Mr. Chitaya, to assist him with anything, given the nature of the allegations.
I didn't discuss that point with him.
Okay, I'll order one just in case. It'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness. I would like a social worker visit to assist with any housing needs possibly. Stay away from the Dunlap Avenue address. No further contact with any of the employees of that staff zone, specifically Sylvia Porter. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mobley. You're welcome.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can we go back to position number 8, Mr. Mack? What was his outcome?
So for the obstruction, there's a $500 good bond. For the possession, a $500 good bond. And for the reckless, a $5,000 good bond. It makes for a total of a $6,000 good bond.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Couple of announcements. We have position number. Give me 1 second. We have position number 6, Mr. Dawson. He waived.
Okay.
Position number 4, Mr. Carter waived.
Okay.
And position number 13, Mr. Pinkney. Mr. McLean, do you want to explain that case?
He did assent to a waiver of presence. I think his MH concerns are enough for me to recommend that he goes straight to the competency calendar. But I do feel that the waiver nonetheless is authorized. I hope that doesn't sound like a contradiction, but there's a overlap period if you have Venn diagrams.
And what about position 16?
Brady reset again.
Reset until 1:31 tomorrow. Okay, let's start with position number 4, Lionel Carter, charged in case 25 CR 0000478F with theft by shoplifting. Your history, Mr. Howard?
86. Last arrest was in the 16th of this month, shoplifting out of Dunwoody. 2021 felony conviction for shoplifting. He was banned from all the Walmarts in DeKalb County. Prior misdemeanors, 2 from 2020, 4 from 2019, banned from Target and Walmart. What else? 2016, 2009 theft by taking convictions. 2019 felony conviction for 3 counts of entering auto. You want me to keep going?
You're good,
They got a
Mr.
lot
Howard.
of FTAs too.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Judge, we'd be asking for a $5,000 good bond with a stay away from the target at 3535 Peachtree Road. The facts are not that severe, just that he was seen concealing merchandise from Target in multiple bags. He just walked out the front door without paying. He was stopped in the parking lot and had all the items still on him. What's really concerning is his history. You heard it briefly from Mr. Toussaint, but I've got from August 2024, theft by shoplifting, another 2024 that failure to appear, February 24th, theft by shoplifting, 2024, failure to appear, 2024, failure to appear, 2023, giving false info, 22, theft by shoplifting, 21, theft by shoplifting, and you heard there's 86 positions, so I could go on and on. So the risk of reoffense is extremely high. We are going to have to upgrade this to a felony. As you know, your third shoplifting is a felony. So we would be asking for a $5,000 good bond with a stay away from the target.
Okay, Mr. McLean.
The fourth shoplifting is a felony.
Oh, you're right.
It's okay. Your Honor,
You got it though.
Your Honor, he simply asked the court to set a fair bond for him. He realized what situation he was in and was very candid, and I hope that things go well for him in the future. We just asked the court to set us a fair bond for him.
$3,000 good bond, stay away from all targets, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, will you repeat that? You were fading out.
Okay, a $3,000 good bond, stay away from all targets, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Position number 6, Thomas Dawson, charged in case 25 CR 0000479C with criminal trespass.
I don't have Dawson. I'm gonna defer to the state.
Okay, Tucker, do you have the history?
Yes, Judge. 1 out of Florida, 17 cycles out of Georgia, including 5 criminal trespass convictions just from last year alone. For that reason, we're asking for a $2,000 good bond with a stay away from the Cloud9 Smoke and Vape Shop at 710 Holcomb Bridge Road, Roswell. He had been previously trespassed just earlier that day. It was the 28th. He had already been told don't come back, and he walked right back in and was there, refused to leave until officers came. Considering his history of criminal trespass specifically, all of his convictions were out of Cobb, but like I said, he had 5 criminal trespass just within 2024 alone. We'd be asking for that $2,000 good bond with a stay away from that location.
Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Dawson's situation is tragic in that he used to be a full-time college student at a very good college here in Atlanta in 2016. I noticed in his record. He will stay away from the Cloud9 Smoke and Vape. He understands that. He does have local contacts. We would ask the court to set as low a bond as possible given the situation, Your Honor. He does have a restaurant job, and he's worked in warehouses, and he has an 11th. It has the 11th, but with the college, I take it that he went past the 11th because it showed in Odyssey as being a full-time student in 2016. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 good bond, stay away from the smoke and vape shop. I'd like him to have a social worker visit to assess for the need of a BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, weapon while out on bond.
Yes.
And finally, position number 13, to Jader Pinkney, charged in case 25 CR 0000490F. Mr. Howard.
Third arrest. Last arrest was 2023 in Ohio. Strangulation, kidnapping, assault, aggravated menacing, and a CWAC charge. They were dismissed.
Okay. Whose case is this with the state?
Oh,
Miss Allen, Miss Tucker?
This is Miss Allen's case.
you're muted.
And a resident of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, got it. Very short facts, Your Honor. This is the first arrest here in Georgia. The defendant was criminally trespassed from the Greyhound bus station the day before his arrest. So that would specifically, I believe be the 28th. And was back at the location in violation of that criminal trespass order the next day. One moment. Let me make sure I have all the information. There is a significant history out of Ohio, however, nothing here in Georgia. The address of the Greyhound station is 232 Forsyth Street Southwest. We're asking for $1,000 SOB to stay away from that location. And we'd ask for a social worker visit.
Thank you. Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor. We do need to deal with some other issues, but no objection.
Okay, well, we can deal with those issues. Before you, I thought you asked for the need to place him on a competency calendar as opposed to releasing him.
Right. He did not, he didn't really provide information per se for today's hearing. He did assent to waive his presence at the hearing.
Do you believe that he needs to be placed on the competency calendar? Does he have some, do you believe he hasn't with competency?
I do believe he needs to be placed on the competency calendar. Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Ms. Bridgewater, when is the next available competency calendar?
It's the same day as this calendar for the SAP, the 13th of February.
So let's place Mr. Pinckney on the 2/13 competency calendar. For now, it'll be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Greyhound bus station and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, that's February the 13th.
Okay.
Comp calendar.
Okay, February 13th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready for us.
Okay. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is February the 13th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. 6 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 7, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 8 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $6,000 good bond. 9, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 10, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 11, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 13 is going to the competency calendar on February the 13th with a $1,000 good bond. 14 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 15, the SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. Position 16 is being reset till tomorrow. 17 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 18 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. And 19 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $5,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're welcome. If
Oh,
not,
was number 5 will be free trial or?
position number 5 is through pretrial level 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any others?
We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Okay.